Grab Life by the Goals is the podcast for passionate badasses to get inspired, activate their potential, and crush their goals. In a nutshell, we do big shit around here. Whether you're looking to disrupt your career, start or grow a business, or simply have a more kick-ass life, you're in the right place. Come to be inspired, find your swagger, dream bigger, and take actual steps to level up your life. All with a side of real talk and raunchy humor. I'm your host, Lauren Widrick. I'm a life and business coach, and I'm right here on the roller coaster with you. Are you ready? Let's do this. What's up, my badasses? Welcome back to this week's episode of the Grab Life by the Goals podcast. And today's talk is all about messy action, moving forward when you don't know exactly what to do without having it be perfect. And today's episode is me walking that walk because it's messier than usual. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see I have no makeup on. I'm wearing a baseball cap, which is the opposite of what I normally do when I do one of these episodes. I kind of do my hair and my makeup so that the video looks good. Not today. And I don't have this episode scripted. I'm going to actually just go off the cuff and do a mini episode about messy action because that's demonstrating what it is. Now, why am I a little bit messier than usual today? Why does my voice sound hoarse? It's because we burned it the fuck down at an event last night. So last night, I was a guest expert at my friend Colleen's event. So if you don't follow Colleen Odegaard, go follow her immediately on Instagram. Her content is amazing. She is a life coach, a media coach. She's an Emmy award-winning journalist. She has the #1 podcast in Charlotte. She's won the award 2 years in a row, and it's called Wake Up to Your Life. And so last night, we held an event called Wake Up to Your Life Live, and 108 people were there. I have never been part of an event that sold that many tickets, and that event was proof of messy action. So that's the example I want to lead with today. I'm going to share this story with you, and then a couple others from my life and business, and then see what tips and nuggets come out from the conversation. Again, this is less structured and scripted than I usually do these podcasts, so let's see how this goes. So this is the story I want to lead with. Colleen is an incredible speaker, and in addition to her amazing coaching business, she dreams of being on stages, of companies hiring her to come in and speak, and hosting her own events. So literally last month, we were sitting at brunch. I'm talking 4 weeks ago, almost to the date. We're sitting at brunch, just a social gathering, and we're talking about our dreams. And I'm like, I want to do more speaking. And she's like, I really want to do more speaking. And we're talking about when we might be ready to do that. And she's like, I think maybe by the fall timeframe, like September, October, I'll be able to host my own Wake Up to Your Life live event. And I looked at her across the table and I was like, why the fall? And she's like, I don't know. I think it's just going to take that long to plan it and put it together and get the audience engaged. And I was like, Colleen, no. In fact, I said, bitch, please. No, it's not going to take that long. I bet if you popped up an Eventbrite on Monday, your room would be packed. And she was like, no. And I said, yeah, I think so. Let's try this. I said, are you down for some messy action? I will help you. This is your event. I'll be your behind the scenes, like logistics planner, your hype girl. But like, if anything, my job here is to take this event from ideation to reality. And she was like, okay, let's do it. Messy action. We don't have the event scripted. We don't know where it's going to be. We don't have all these details locked in, but we popped up the Eventbrite. And guess what happened? People started signing up. Momentum started to build. And the room we booked holds 110 people. So I said to her, how many people do you want at this event? She said, 100, right? The room holds 100. Why don't we just go for it? In the back of my mind, I was like, that would be amazing. I would have been happy with like 20 people or 30 people, but she set her sights on 100 and she manifested it. It sold out 108 tickets. And at the event last night, this is what we talked about. So her method to wake up to your life is getting super clear on what you want, following the things that are hot for you and moving away from the things that are cold. You know that game you play as a kid, hot or cold. Messy action, loving yourself through the process, and then finding a community. That's what we talked about last night. And I got to come on stage and kind of do a little like schmoozing and blabbing on the topic of messy action because I love this shit. I have become extremely comfortable with things being imperfect over the last 6 years. And we're going to talk about that more in my business in a moment. But we were talking to the people in the room and we were like, we're going to be honest with you. We're so glad you're here. There's champagne. There's a full bar. Babe and Butcher did a beautiful charcuterie spread. There was a balloon arch. There were gifts. Like, y'all think this looks good? this was messy as fuck. Like literally 1 month ago, we're sitting at brunch being like, like, I don't know how to do this. But we pulled it off because we made a declaration. We're like, we're going to figure this out as we go. We're going to fly, build the plane as you fly it, or however that phrase goes, right? And it was amazing to be in front of that room of women and be like, this is us walking the walk. We're not perfect. Like, we don't know what we're doing. Literally right now, we're on stage talking to you and we don't know what we're doing. But that's what we want to give you permission to do, is take a step forward and not need it to be perfect. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about when it comes to messy action. I think perfectionism is a dream killer. And I know you guys know that, but we all have these big, juicy goals. If you're a listener of my podcast or Colleen's podcast, you have a big, sexy goal. And you might be stuck because that goal feels overwhelming to you. So let's say you want to write a book or start a business or change jobs or find a relationship or move, right? Like these are big goals. And when you think about them in their entirety, they can be paralyzing, right? Totally paralyzing. Like starting a business felt totally paralyzing to me. Starting up events and building out the squad, which you guys are starting to hear about, and I'll talk more about in a minute. Totally overwhelming when you think about all the shit you have to do and then the pressure to get it right and not fuck up. So we don't do anything. We were working with someone in the room last night who wants to write a book, but the prospect of it was overwhelming. Like, I'm not going to have time to write. Where do I find a publisher, an editor? Is anybody going to like the book? And there was a lot of stuff going around. We were using the book as the example. And we called to the room, what is one messy action this person can take to get from ideation to in motion? And it was like, get a pen and paper and go write a page. And I said, even simpler, tell somebody in this room that you're writing a book, right? These first initial actions can be so small, but you have to do something. Otherwise, your dream will stay on a shelf. So I was telling the room last night that you can't ruminate your way to results. This is something I say to my side hustlers who are kind of overthinking their packages, or any of my coaching clients that are overthinking anything. I'm like, stop thinking, start doing. Because here's another philosophy I believe so deeply. It's better to do the wrong action than no action. And you are looking here, like if you're watching the YouTube video, we're looking eye to eye right now. And P.S., are you watching the YouTube videos? Because it's really fun to actually watch and engage with these episodes. And my producer, Kristen, has made it look slammin'. So go over to my YouTube channel, follow Lauren Widrick Coaching, and you can see these podcast videos and other little nuggets that we drop once in a while. Okay, squirrel brain, back to the thought at hand. You are looking at the fuck up queen. I have made so many mistakes. I have a whole episode about it from about, 9 months ago on this podcast called The Failure Chronicles. And I've got on other people's podcasts talking about failure. And I think I've just become, I was telling my friend this morning, I think I've just become comfortable with things being imperfect. And it's taken a long time. Like when I'm looking back at my business, I'm like, I have this vision board, right? And it includes a slammin' office space. Like I want to work not at my house. I love the flexibility of doing it, but this is not my highest vibe environment to be just in these four walls 24/7. I want to be in a high vibe space with cool ass people wearing nice clothes, drinking matcha lattes. Like that's what I ultimately dream of. So last year I rented a co-working space in Ballantyne, which is a suburb of Charlotte. And it just wasn't it. It was perfect on paper. It was beautiful. And it just wasn't the vibe. And I found myself never going. Okay, fine. Swing one. It was even an expensive mistake, but I'm like, okay. It brought me closer to my current space, which is Tabris. You know, I talk about Tabris all the time. I record a lot of my podcasts there. My squad works out of there. That's where we had the event last night. I love Tabris for this phase of my business. And it's helping me see my ultimate dream, which I've never said out loud to anybody except my husband, is to have my own co-working space. So I'm saying it, it's probably going to manifest, but I dream of having the coolest fucking office space. Like not like any of these no WeWork, nothing like we've seen before. It's totally different. It's going to be called Squad Space. I'm going to rent it out. There's going to be pictures of like Lizzo and each other and inspirational quotes. We are going to do twerk outs every morning. We're going to do like manifestation meditations. We're going to bring in guest speakers. We're going to dance. We're going to play Lizzo. Like Squad Space is going to be the shit. So that's my ultimate dream. But look at the messy action path, right? Step 1, the wrong office space. Step 2, the right co-working space. Step 3 is going to be my own space. But if I never got that first space and made that mistake, I would not be on the path to creating my own squad space. So do you see messy actions are totally okay? And I'm going to give you another couple of examples here. In terms of messy action, let's talk about the squad. So if you haven't heard me talk about this yet, I am so freaking excited. This is the annual membership that I'm releasing in June 2022. It officially starts on 6/6/22, all even numbers. I love that. And what this is, it's everything I've done for the last 6 years under one umbrella. It's a networking group, it's courses, it's coaching from me, it's coaching from the C-suite, it's a social group, it's got retreats, it's got travel, it's got everything that I've done in, frankly, a messy fashion over the last several years, all tied up in a bow. But in order for me to be able to execute on this squad, I had to have tried all these things and maybe sucked at them for a little while in order to know how to do them, right? So this squad is going to include coaching from me. Like I'll do business coaching on Tuesdays and life and career coaching on Thursdays. Great. And then rotating guest experts on Wednesdays. I have run a community kind of like that before. It was called the Grab Life by the Goals community. It was a Facebook group. It was like $250 a month. It only had those 2 calls and it was an incomplete solution. People liked it, but it didn't catch on like wildfire because it didn't have that like fun factor, that stickiness factor, that whole life factor. It was literally just like 2 business coaching calls a month. And I'm like, okay, great. I swung at this concept and it didn't really stick because it wasn't juicy enough. Now I'm like, okay, I can learn from that experience and say people don't want 2 calls a month. They want regular interaction and they want to be able to pop in when they're available. 2 calls a month isn't enough, right? Like what if you have a conflict on one of those 2 calls? Well, you've knocked out 50% of your interaction. Messy first swing. This squad has a buffet of calls. There's literally, let me do the math, 12 Zoom calls a month, 8 with me, 4 with guest experts that you can pick and choose. That's juicy. There is a damn near weekly networking event in Charlotte, and then we're going to travel to our markets, as I've mentioned. So if we've got people in different cities, my ass will be on a plane. So every like 1 to 2 months, I'll be in your city doing an event. And we're going to have these retreats. Like it's so much to choose from. It's so juicy and it's so valuable. And it's a scalable business model for me. I have tried to build things before that are hard for me to deliver. This one is going to be easy for me to deliver because it'll be me and my part-time, I think he or she will be like 20 hours a week, community manager. I haven't hired this person yet, but this person's going to assist me so that I can be fully present, not worried about logistics. These are mistakes I've made before. Let me talk to you about events and retreats. I have done, I'll say 3 big events now. I've done a retreat at the Grand Bohemian Hotel, the Slay Your Side Hustle retreat. I did a retreat, the Legacy retreat at my house, and then we did the C-suite conference. And then I'm going to call myself like a guest planner for last night's event that had 100 people. So I've done those and I've hosted probably 6 or 7 in-person panels where I've gathered my squad mates, experts, and we've sat in front of a room and actually like taught and interacted. So I've done enough events now where I don't suck at them anymore. But guess what? I did suck at the beginning. My first event that I did at the Grand Bohemian Hotel, it was not that great. And thank the Lord that the people who signed up, they paid in full, but they were friendly people. They were people I knew, and they were kind of like willing to be guinea pigs to some extent. But that's a blessing because, oh my God, it was a 1.5-day retreat and it was me fucking talking for 1.5 days. And that was exhausting for me and not that exciting for them. Really, like, do you really want to sit and listen to one bitch talk for like 1.5 days? No, even though the content was good, the format was like boring. And what they said to me after that retreat was, Lauren, it was good. We liked the workbook. We liked the content. But what we really loved was being in the room of fellow entrepreneurs who made the leap out of corporate because it made it feel possible for us. Like literally the best part of being in that room was not me. And I took no offense to that. And I was like, absolutely. Like that is my superpower. Really good coach, really good trainer, podcaster, whatever. But like, I actually just attract cool people. If you're listening to this podcast, you're one of them. And my whole squad is full of cool people. And by cool, I mean fun, sassy, like great to be around, but also non-competitive, collaborative, want to see you win. There's no competition in this squad. Everybody literally sends each other leads, sends each other's business, even if they have the same business. Sometimes we have people in the squad that do the same thing and we're like, this person is a better personality fit for you. So we send them that way. I have other people in the squad who teach how to do side hustles and I send them business sometimes because they need a deeper dive than like what Slay Your Side Hustle will give you. We have another coach of the squad who does like deep mindset work as a path out of corporate. And mine is like a hardcore sprint training program. Two different styles, and we do not mind sending each other business. It's not competitive. So what I learned from messy action with that first event was it's not all about me. People don't want to hear me talk all day long. It's more about the people in the room. And my job is to get the coolest possible people in the room, and they will create the magic themselves, and I can take my damn hands off the wheel. So every event we've done thereafter has gotten better and better and better. But you guys, I had to suck first. Like if I had not taken the messy action of doing my first retreat, then my second retreat, which was the legacy retreat at my house, wouldn't have been so magical because I'm like, I'm not going to talk at these people for 2 days straight. I'm going to prompt them to interact with each other. And that one was better. And it's great to talk about that. That was in late October, 2021. Literally this week, I've gotten messages from 3 of the attendees that came to that retreat. And it was just at my house. Again, kind of messy action. 3 of them have been like, everything we talked about at that retreat is manifesting, and we have to do that retreat again. So speaking of, the squad and I are planning a luxury retreat. It's like the legacy retreat on steroids for October 2022. And guess what? Messy action. We booked the lake house, literally this lake mansion. We've not sold any tickets yet. We don't have a website for it. We haven't socialized. I mean, I'm literally like prematurely telling you about it right now in messy action fashion. It's going to be baller. You guys have to see this mansion. We're going to have a chef and meditation and yoga and swaggy gifts, like really swaggy gifts, very fancy food, all the things. But our first messy action was booking the house, right? So what I want to tell you guys about messy action is, I said it before, it's okay to take the wrong action. In fact, I'd rather you take the wrong action than no action because you get insights from it. Literally test and iterate. And this is back to manifestation stuff. Being in action, right or wrong, actually shows the universe that you are goddamn serious about your goal. You know, I've done so many things in my business, so many webinars that very few people or nobody came to, launches that didn't reach the numbers I wanted, posts and marketing efforts that people thought were weird. I mean, God, you guys, even last night, people thought I was weird. It was so good to be on stage with Colleen, but I wore this like slutty suit. If you go on Instagram, you'll see the pictures, but like it was a suit with like Daisy Dukes as the shorts. And I was really nervous about that, but I was like, fuck it. I've never worn a slutty suit to an event before. I'm gonna take messy action. I'm gonna try it out. So like, that's how it goes. And now I have a feedback loop. I'm like, I actually liked that. Not everyone in the room liked my suit, but like, I am literally going to wear that again because it's so ridiculous and it made me feel swaggy. So I lost my train of thought. See, that's what happens with the unscripted episodes. Where was I going? Oh, the universe. Okay. See, messy action, guys. When you take some action, whether it's right or wrong or perfect, all you're doing is telling the universe that you are absolutely committed to your goal. It's okay to be imperfect. And this is what I want to impart on you guys about messy action. If you're listening to this, you're probably a high performer. You've probably succeeded at work. You probably have a great life. You're not perfect. None of us have perfect lives, but you have been trained by society, by school, by your job, by your neighborhood, that things have to be right or perfect or look a certain way. And that's why you don't want it to be messy. And that trap is a prison that will keep you stuck in good on paper and not good in your heart, if that makes sense. So I would rather you take a swing at something like I'm taking a swing at stand-up comedy. Talk about messy action. I don't know where that's going to go. I'm going to get my ass on stage. I'm going to say some shit. I'm definitely going to bomb. Absolutely going to bomb. It's going to be so messy. I don't know how to do it. I'll probably wear my slutty pink suit. So I don't know. At least some people will have stuff to talk about. I just signed up for the class, right? Sometimes you just have to do these things. And the last messy action example I'll give you, God, I've got so many more. So many more in life, you know, things you try, friends you try and make and they don't work out, relationships that don't always go how you think they're going to go. There's so many examples, but I want to talk to you about how I'm selling the squad because you're going to LOL. I'm not selling it, right? I am going on the podcast and just sort of blabbering about it. I'm going on Instagram and sort of blabbering about it and being like, this thing's going to be really cool. And I never crafted a pitch. I am still building out the course library in the Mighty Network. I'm promising you a course library. It's still being built. I'm revamping Slay Your Side Hustle to be even more potent. People have said that they wish the videos were shorter. And I actually agree with that feedback. So I'm going to go through and make these videos very potent, like easier to watch, more actionable and all of those things, along with my other courses as well. So this thing is not built. I don't even have the sales page up. There's literally no way to take people's money. And I am telling you, there is a wait list. The wait list is a piece of paper on my desk where I write down your name. And there are 10 people on the wait list already. And that is that's a great deal. Even though it's a great price for you, it's a great amount of revenue for me. It's like such a win-win. I don't even have a place for you to put in your credit card, and I'm already pre-selling this thing. That's what I want to impart on you before you start your job search. You don't actually need a perfect resume. Just go start talking to people and socializing the fact that you want a new job. Before you start a new relationship, you do not need to lose 10 pounds or go get more Botox or any of that shit. No, just put yourself out there. If you want to start a business, you do not need a perfect website. You do not need a perfect headshot. Like, just start telling people and socializing and validating your idea. Like the squad, there's going to be a beautiful registration page. My web designer is working on it now, but like, I can't wait for that shit. I'm just going to like blab about it to you on the podcast right now. And people are wanting to join. I blabbed about it on stage with Colleen last night. I got 4 messages on Instagram from people being like, how do I join this thing? And I'm like, your name's going to go on a piece of paper next to my desk because that's all I got right now. Messy action. I'm getting excited. Okay. These unscripted episodes, are these good or bad? Give me some feedback. Let me know, because it's a little bit of a riff, but I want to make sure you guys take value. This is the last thing that I'll say about messy action. Okay. It doesn't have to be miserable. I'm going to make an Instagram post. This just came to me. Messy action shouldn't be miserable. I don't want you to do something you fucking hate in the name of messy action. It has to be good. It has to be inspired. So for instance, like a bad messy action for me selling the squad would be making 20 cold calls to people I don't know. That would be action. And you could do that, right? I'd rather have you do that than nothing, but that doesn't actually feel good to me. What feels good to me is like, okay, I don't have the right script. I don't have the right pitch, but I'm just going to like tell people about the squad and see what happens. That is what I would call inspired messy action. So does it feel badass or sad ass? Does it feel litty titty or lame, right? Be honest with yourself. Like the first action you take does not have to be perfect, but it should be kind of fun, right? I'm having fun with you guys right now. God forbid you're watching the YouTube video. I look like ass. We were up so late last night. The event was from 7 to 9. Like I said, room was packed, 108 people. People stayed. People had extra champagne. And then it was like 10:20 at night. And Colleen was like, you want to get dinner? I was like, I should probably get home to my kid. Yes, I want to get dinner. So we went to a sushi place. We were there till 11:30. I drove home at midnight and was like, who am I? I've literally never stayed up this late in my life. But again, that was messy action. I was kind of like, yeah, let's go to dinner, because I got to bond with some of her best friends who are incredible women. They live right here in Fort Mill where I live. They have awesome businesses. They were just so cool. I think I kind of made some new friends last night by just following that nudge of like, I should get home, but my kids and husband are asleep. They're not going to know if I got home at 11 or 12. Like, I'm going to go to this dinner. And it was actually so beautiful. And I loved being with these people. So follow your gut, follow the nudges. Maybe that's the best way to say it. Your next messy action is a nudge you've already received, or after you listen to this, you're about to receive. And listen, you don't have to be perfect, okay? I know that in your past job, you've been given performance reviews. I know that you want your house to look perfect. And Instagram, it makes us feel like we have to have these perfect lives, but we don't. We don't. I think the more you fuck up on the journey, the more you learn about yourself, the more fun it is. Like, I can look back on all of those messy mistakes and I'm like, thank the Lord. I mean, down to the big shit, like down to getting fired from my job, which was a true, borderline like emotionally traumatic, not literally. I mean, it's not a real trauma, but it was traumatic for me to get fired. And I was speaking to a therapist yesterday and I was like, I'm actually glad that happened. I in the moment it sucked, because I'm going through something right now in the moment that's sucking. It's a little bit of a health scare. And I'm like, there's meaning in this. There's meaning in what I'm going through. I can't see it at the time because I don't have the benefit of hindsight, but like, there's meaning in this mess. There's magic in the mess. So I want you guys to do this exercise right now. This is just coming to me. Take your number one goal and make sure it's your goal, not like society's goal, right? You don't have to make another $50,000 if you don't want to. You don't have to get that promotion. You don't have to start a business. You don't have to scale your business. I want to throw that out there too. I am meeting so many people lately that are like, I had $1 million business and it made me miserable. I'm actually scaling it back. Like, does that turn you on? Or does the $1 million business turn you on? Be honest about what turns you on. Literally right now. I'm going to pause. That thing that came up in your mind, how does that make you feel? That goal, is it turning you on? And then the next question is, what is one messy step that you can take today? No, I'm not letting you put this off until Friday or the weekend. Today, what is one thing you can do today to advance that goal? Let me give you an idea if you're stuck. Send me a DM and tell me what it is. I will keep it private. I will not put you on blast. But what I will say is if you DM me at Lauren Widrick on Instagram, I will write back and say, congratulations. Your goal now has 300x the chance of coming true than if you didn't just DM me. You declared it, you wrote it down, and another person has now heard it. So if you need a messy action idea, do that. Otherwise, write that one page or that one sentence. Apply for one job. Swipe on one person on the dating app. Like, take a 5-minute walk. Stand up a webinar. Who cares if anybody comes, right? Like, do that one messy action because it'll tell the universe that you're serious, and the universe will respond in kind with all of the manifestations and the dreams that you're looking for. That's what Colleen and I said last night. We were like, your dreams can come true in a month. Literally, this went from hungover brunch conversation to packed room of 108 people making magic, laughing, crying, connecting, toasting. Like, oh my God, it was literally so magical. And if we would not have thrown up the goddamn Eventbrite, that would not have happened. I would not be having this podcast with you. I think we gained about 8 new squad members last night. Again, they're on the wait list on my desk on the piece of paper. None of that would be, oh, and a couple other really sexy, I don't feel ready to tell you yet, but like one big opportunity for me and Colleen came up last night. So I'll share that with you when I'm ready. But like, oh my God, you guys, just fucking do it. So when I tell you guys to quit dicking around, it's not to be mean. I know that sounds kind of snarky, but like, it's quit dicking around and get out of your own way because this is what's available to you on the other side. If you're willing to let perfection go and you're willing to just do the first thing, you will be in good company of people who are comfortable with imperfection and also making really big dreams come true. All right, guys, I will leave you with that. Be sure to go check me out on YouTube, Lauren Widrick Coaching. Definitely leave a review on the podcast, a written review. My producer tells me that's how we get reach. So if you could leave a review and say this episode was amazing, I will reach out and basically like virtually make out with you. I will love you for that. And if there's anything I can do to get you unstuck, never be afraid to DM me. I am in your corner. I got your back. Messy action is worth it, my friends. All right, guys, I'll leave you with this. Grab life by the goals, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for listening to the Grab Life by the Goals podcast. If you loved this episode, I would be thrilled if you subscribed wherever you listen to your podcast so that you can get notified when an episode drops and we can rendezvous like this every single week. If you're feeling frisky, maybe slap a 5-star review on this bitch and maybe even some comments about what inspired you from this podcast episode. This is simply so more people can find us and join our squad of badassery. I love me some Instagram, so come find me. My handle is @Lauren Widrick, and if you screenshot and share this episode with your peeps, I'll come shower you with all the virtual hugs and kisses. Until next time, grab life by the goals, my friend.